Hello guys, my name is James, and in this video I wanted to talk about the whole no proc testing in Elder Scrolls Online that's going to last for another 3 months in PvP. I'm seeing a lot of misunderstandings around the community, such as on Discord servers, Facebook pages and even the forums, that people just don't really understand exactly what's happening, why it's happening, or what sets they can use. So in this video, to begin with, I'm going to talk a little bit about why it's happening, what to expect, where it's going to happen, and then I'll get onto what sets you can use and explain exactly how that mechanic works, followed by some suggested build. So if you have any misunderstandings about this test, this is the video for you. So to begin with, to explain why they're doing this test, well, it was another rollout test to find out where the lag was coming from with the servers. It's no secret that Elder Scrolls Online servers do run a little bit slow sometimes. We all have complaints about that. And there have been a few tests over the years to look at why that's happening and try and fix it. A long time ago there was a no CP rollout across all campaigns on all servers for a couple of weeks, and that didn't fix it. We also had the whole cooldown on AoEs thing tested a little while ago, and of course there was never going to stay. They were never going to keep cooldowns on AoEs, and that is something that we need to remember about this test as well. Proc sets are never going to be completely deleted from the game because they make up most of the sets in Elder Scrolls Online. So to remove them would just be a huge backstep, plus we all spent money on DLCs, and that would mean we'd lose those sets that we worked hard to get. In addition to that, they've already finished the test and found that proc sets do not contribute to the lag, so that's a good thing, right? We're not going to lose those tests. So why are we doing another 3 months of no procs? Well, the reason was because there was a big feedback from the community, real big positive feedback, that said a lot of players preferred the no procs in PvP because it just went too far. And it's also killing class identity. I'll give you an example of that. A lot of magic builds are running Malakath with Crimson and the Vadashran Inferno staff, and then just filling out the rest of the slots with Trainee. And that build basically plays itself. There's no skill involved with that, and you can put it on any class and it's going to perform exactly the same. So what that does is it kind of eliminates the ability to balance out classes when you've got some of them overperforming and some of them not doing so well. An example of that would be in PvP right now, especially in my opinion. Magic Nightblade and Magic Necromancer don't do so well, whereas Magic Sork and Stamina Warden perform particularly well. Now if we're all relying on proc sets and we're not using the class skills, it's kind of impossible for the developers to see that, and they're never going to be able to balance those skills out, and we're never really going to get proper feedback from the community. So this test is a real good thing. It does mean we have to change our sets up, but it will mean a good thing in the long run in terms of a more balanced game. In addition to that, it does mean we have to sacrifice stats now. Along with the new champion point system, you have to spec more into a role than ever before, especially up till about 1500 or 1600 CP, meaning that you can't just have everything by wearing a couple of proc sets that will just carry you all the way through. So that's why this is happening. It's going to be a good thing long term. You just have to bear with it and look at the build that you want to make. And I'm here to sort of suggest a few builds that you can look at. So this is Goodfellas House on PS4NA, real impressive place with lots of craft stations. And I'm just going to go through a few of these sets to talk about which ones you can and can't use, and then hopefully you'll get the idea and be able to put a build together yourself. So the idea is that when we look at our stats page, we've got our regular stats such as max magic, max stamina, we've got our spell and weapon damage, recovery, crit and all that kind of thing. And then we've also got our advanced stat page, and we get these extra stats come up from this new update. So we've got like block move speed, sprint speed, sneak speed, all that kind of thing, and they're extra stats. So basically any set that adds something that's not going to go onto those stat pages is not going to work. Zos did publish a small list of sets that are going to work in full, and it was like 15 or something sets, and a lot of people are under the misunderstanding that those are the only sets that you can use in PvP, and that's just not true. So if we look at these sets here, we've got the Adept Rider, not a very good set. The 2, 3 and 4 piece of this still will work, okay? So this is going to be, I'll just throw it to 160 real quick. So you'll still get the armor, you'll still get the health. The 5th item on this particular one, Major Gallop, is particularly useless because we get that as part of a buff now in the new set. But that's not a stats increase, that's a buff, so that's not going to work anyway. So that's not a set that you'd be able to use in PvP. If we move along a little bit, we've got Armor Master. And this one, again, on the 2, 3 and 4, we get health and double bonuses of armor. They're all going to work. But the 5th piece, you're not going to get anything from that. That's a condition. So basically anything that's any kind of calculation, a proc chance or a condition or anything outside of a stats bonus increase, you're not going to get. so the 5th piece on that will not work. And if we look at some of our sets in the inventory, we've got a real obvious one here, Zarn. The 1 piece of that will still work, the 2 piece won't. It's a proc chant and it's a calculation, so it's not going to work. Only max stat increases will. So let's look at a few others because there are some that might be a little bit confusing. So I wanted to find, here we go, Kagranak's Hope. Okay, now if we look at this one, the 5th piece has actually got 2 bonuses. So the 2, 3 and 4 are going to work as normal, but the 5th piece has got 2 bonuses. So the first part of the 5th piece will still work. This is not a case of just disabling all the 5th pieces of any set that's got, you know, a proc chance or a calculation. It just removes those individual perks. Now the second part of the 5th piece that decreases the time it takes to revive an ally and restore magicka, that's not going to work because that's a calculation, it's a condition, it's not going to work. So only the first 5th piece will, which kind of makes sets like this somewhat useful, and they're not on the list that ZOS published, yet they'll still work. So that's something that a lot of people have not really realized yet, and something that we can make use of. Now there are a few sets like that that have got 2 5th pieces. I'll just try and find another one here. We've got New Moon Acolyte, which I'll come back to in just a second. So we've got Oblivion's Foe here. And if we look at this one, again, we've got 2, 3 and 4 that are all going to work. So Penetration still works, Crit still works. All the stuff like weapon and spell damage, recovery, healing given, healing received, armor, it's all going to work. The 5th piece on this one, getting 112 weapon and spell damage, is still going to work. But the 5th piece will not, because that's a condition. It's a proc, it's not going to work. So moving on to New Moon's Acolyte, this has an interesting 5th piece, so it's not the same as the others. If you look at the bonuses on that, the 5th piece is 2 different parts, but it's not listed in 2 different parts. So Kagranak's Hope had 5 items spell damage, and then it had a separate entry of 5 items for the revive mechanic. This one doesn't, so the 5th piece adding spell and weapon damage, at first thought I kind of thought, well, maybe New Moon will be the go-to set, because if they disable the condition at the end of this, that'll just make this amazing, because it basically just removes the negative part of it. However, the 5th piece is linked together, so the increase of the cost is actually linked to the 350 weapon and spell damage, which means none of that 5th piece will work. So that's kind of how it all works. It's best just to have a look through all these sets, and if you've got any questions, put them in the comment section. We've got real obvious sets again, like this, damage an enemy as a proc chance, not going to work. So what it means is if we look through our inventory, we've got monster sets. Now, they've all got a 1 piece. None of the 2 piece monster sets are going to work because they're all some kind of condition, they're all some kind of proc chance. But if we look at Swarm Mothers, that actually gives us 2 bonuses of stats for the 1 piece, as does Dommy House. And there are a couple of other monster sets, such as the Stonekeeper and one of the new ones that have just come out that give you a tri-stat bonus. So they're kind of the go-to 1 pieces to use now, and they're going to be the best options for your monster sets in my opinion, since you can't complete a full set. Other than that, we're mostly going with max stats. So here on the Magblade, I've got 3 Ancient Grace on the jewelry, I've got 5 Crafty Alphix on the body, and I've got Willpower weapons. That gives me a fairly decent stat sheet, mostly kind of geared around offense. I don't particularly build into defense and armor on a Magblade anyway, just because I find we lose too much damage. But you can see it still works, and honestly, the little amount of PvP that I've done since the update drop yesterday is much more quality. It is so much better, not bouncing off people wearing Crimson, not having to deal with werewolves just spamming Hal because of Eternal Vigor, and not getting dropped instantly by Calorian's builds, such as the one that I published a little while ago. So PvP is a lot better for a while. I'm not saying that's the best thing for the game in terms of like always losing our procs. They're probably going to come back at some point in 3 months, but hopefully this gives us, well, this gives the developers a chance to balance the game, balance those classes that are underperforming, especially such as Magic Necromancer and Magic Nightblade, and hopefully we can come out of this test as a positive. So that's really all I wanted to say. Quick video, I just wanted to explain these things because I've seen a few people getting confused. Please let me know what you think in the comment sections if you've got any questions or any sets that you want to run by me. I can soon explain it for you. But basically anything out of a basic calculation or a condition of any kind or a proc chance is not going to work, okay? So a lot of the sets that are on a lot of the sets that give you max stats are perfect. Now that's about it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you've got any questions or queries or you still don't understand them, please speak up in either the comment section or the Facebook comment thread where I post these videos, and I'll give you as much detail as possible. The build showcased in this video is just some PvP in the battleground I did today, and that is the no proc mag blade I showed you a moment ago. It's still kind of rough because we're having to go up against all those procs that are still active in battlegrounds, but it's great practice for open world PvP, and it's by no means butchered PvP. It's still definitely viable to run no procs. The next video I'm going to be doing is a showcase of the next crown crate season, so I'm going to be going through all the possible rewards as well as opening around 45 of the new crates to try and get some of those new Radiant Apexes and the cool rewards. So that'll be the next upload in a couple of days. After that we'll look at some more PvP builds that will be both proc and no proc, so that you've got some options for both Cyrodiil and Battlegrounds. After that I'll be looking at some housing showcasing, so I can show you guys masterpiece off as well as some of the houses I've created. So there's going to be a lot of ESO content coming on this channel. If that sounds like your thing, please subscribe and stay tuned. Other than that, we'll see you on the next video. Have a great day and goodbye for now.